Hey guys, Brianna here with Blossom and Branch Farm. We've gotten a lot of questions these last couple of weeks as we've been building our beds, just asking about our process of building beds and why we do it the way that we do. And so I thought I would take an opportunity to film myself building a bed and talk you guys through it. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so the first thing that I do when I'm making my beds is I know that I'm starting with a 3-foot wide planting bed top. So I'm going to measure out my 36 inches, but I actually go a little bit beyond that just so that the edges of the planting bed aren't angled down. That just makes it hard for those ones to get watered. So I make it just a little bit wider than 36 and I measure all the way down the row, and then I'm gonna dig out 2 feet for my walkway. Okay, so what I was using there to measure out my walkways, again, because I do a 2-foot walkway, I just used this straight edge. It's exactly 2 feet, and then that way I just drag it along the ground and I don't have to sit there with a tape measure. And then I laid down this line of drip tape just to mark where my 36 inches was so that I could just run this right along that edge. And now I'm gonna dig out where my walkway is gonna go. Alright, so it's pretty good. It's not perfect, but that's okay. We're not going for perfections. So when you are shoveling a lot, make sure that you take a break. You probably saw me doing I call it the shovel stretch. What I do is I put my shovel up overhead and then I bring it down behind my shoulders and I just press here, and it stretches out your delts and your pecs because shoveling is hard work. Press my hands up. And then make sure that you're doing this stretch as well. If you're doing a lot of farming, gardening, digging, pull those fingers, extend your arm. I keep a slight bend in my elbow, pull the fingers toward me. Same thing on the other hand. And then fingers down, stretch out the other side, top, another side. Just helps. So I only usually do like 2 beds a day because otherwise I just get too sore. It's a lot of work and the clay is heavy. So you can see I was scraping off the top layer. So what we did in the fall is we brought in a bunch of compost, about 4 to 6 inches, which is quite a lot. And we let that degrade over the winter. And now I'm just scraping off. That's really good. It's good for amending soil. It's broken down compost, so I don't want to plant straight into that, but it's really good stuff. So I'm scraping it up off the pathway and I'm going to reuse it elsewhere on the farm. So that way the pathway doesn't have to have all that good compost in there. It's going to get compacted anyway. So now I'm going to go through the bed. I'm going to take my shovel. Usually I would use a broad fork for this, but our broad fork is out of commission. So I'm going to use this shovel and I'm just going to lightly turn the soil in the bed just to get all this broken down compost added into our topsoil. Okay, so now that I got all the dirt turned, it's all nice and fluffed up. Having the bed raised a little bit helps with the drainage. So especially in clay soils, we want to improve that drainage any way we can. So therefore, that's why I turned it and fluffed up the dirt. So now I'm going to go along and I'm going to use my big push broom. I'm going to level off the top of the bed. And I'm just doing that because if I try to lay my drip line down on top of this really bumpy, uneven surface, it's not going to lay properly, and there are going to be low points where water is going to gather and potentially drown plants. And then there will be other plants that are sitting too high and won't get enough water. So I just like to use the push broom because it's quick and easy. I'm just gonna level it out. And then I'm also gonna sweep out the pathway just to make sure it's a solid 2 feet and that it's a pretty even walking surface. All right, time to burn our fabric. So a lot of people will burn their fabric in place. I like to burn my fabric on a solid level surface just so that everything is really nice and neat. So I'm gonna move over to my driveway to do that. If you have an area with a lot of rocks, like a rock driveway, a gravel driveway, any regular concrete or asphalt patio will work. So let's go look at how we do that. Okay, so I'm here on my driveway. I have my template. This is my 6-inch spacing template. There are different templates that we use. One is a 6, one is a 9, we have a 12. We may use a 4-inch spacing next year. We'll see how we feel. But right now I'm using 6-inch, so we have pre-drilled these holes from a piece of plywood. I'm laying it out on my landscape fabric, and then I'm just using a simple propane torch to burn my holes. If you try to cut holes in your fabric, it just takes longer. They tend to fray. If you burn the holes, they'll be nice and neat and they won't fray at all. So let's get burning. Okay, so for our irrigation here at the farm, we are using drip line with emitters. The emitters are where the water bubbles out of. So this is in comparison to like a soaker hose, for example, that you might have used in your garden at home. Soaker hoses just generally don't do well in the field. They're a little uneven when it comes to watering. They tend to dry out when they get left out, and they're expensive. So this drip tape will last quite a while. We got the 15 mil, which is the thickest one. So hopefully these will last us about 5 years. So they have emitters spaced every 6 inches. We're gonna be putting 4 of them down in our 3-foot bed top just because we have a pretty well draining soil, especially after adding all that compost. So we wanna make sure that we're getting water all the way across the bed. If we had a more heavy clay soil, we might get away with 2 or 3 lines, but we're using 4. So what these have is a little twist on the end, and then they have a cap that you can open up when it comes time to drain out. You can't open it with one hand. But you can open these, and then if you need to drain out your line, if it's going to freeze or if they get clogged, then you can just open it and let all the water run out the end to clean it out. So I'm gonna stake these down onto this end, and then I'm gonna run them all the way down to the other end and secure them with staples. Okay, so down on this end, this is our open end. We put the little plugs on that end that have the screw off tops. On this side, we're gonna put in the nozzles. These are the ones that poke into the hose on this side, and then they run into the line on this side. They have this manual on off, which I really like because sometimes there are rows that I don't want getting as much water as others, and so you can turn off the line with this. They're a little bit more expensive, but to me, it's worth it. So those just plug into the line. As you can see, these ones are already done. So we're just gonna screw it onto this hose here. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and put our fabric down. The reason that I don't stake down these lines more, I only do one on that end and one on this end to hold it in place, is because I want to be able to adjust the lines once I put my fabric down so that I'm sure that each little hole is getting water. So if I stake these down and then I put down the fabric and they don't line up quite right, then I have to redo it underneath the fabric, and that's a pain. So let's put down the fabric first and then we'll stake everything. All right, so we've got our fabric out. We've got it all staked down all along the sides. And then now I'm gonna go through with my stakes, and I'm just gonna make sure that I have lines running in between each of these rows. And then I'll staple the rows, the drip lines down so they don't move too much underneath the fabric. All right, so now we've got our row all prepped. It's all staked down, it's ready to plant, and it'll be nice and flat, and the water will be nice and even, and as you can see, it creates a nice, clean, neat area for working in. So that's how we do it. Have fun.